Well, hey, everybody. This is Dr. Crystal Richardson. Extremely happy to be with you today on the last day of International, I keep saying international, but it's Women's History Month. Women's History Month. And it has been really, really great the last several days that we've done these interviews, and we have a few women that are here to wrap this up for us. And so I'm not going to take any longer with introductions about the actual month itself of International Women's Month. Why do I keep saying that? It is Women's History Month. I'm going to get my words right here. I haven't even had caffeine, and you see how things are going right now. But I'm going to bring up Christina. She is amazing. And we have a few other women that are going to be joining us today as well. So hopefully her tongue is not as tied as mine is right now. So let me go ahead and bring her up. She's backstage laughing at me. Hey, how are you doing?
Good morning. Good morning. I haven't had coffee, but I'm having kombucha, so we're close.
I'm like, what in the world? I'm just trying to say like one thing, Women's History Month, and everything I do is international. So I'm like, international this, international that.
That's why, because you're international. That's what
I know, right? And I actually have on my outfit from India. They gave me when I was over there the last time I was there. So I am international, but that's not what we're here to talk about. Go ahead and introduce yourself, and we'll get into a few questions here.
Awesome. My name is Cristina Elizondo. My company is Namaste Business Funding. What we do is we help businesses get fundable, and we help them get fundable by helping them get approved for business loans, business grants, anything that has to do with funding for their company. We try to help them get them online, get them all their lines of business fundable, and that's basically what we do.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So with that, and with this being Women's History Month, I just have to slow myself down to say it properly. With this being Women's History Month, is there a woman in your history, whether it's someone you know or don't know, is there a woman in your history that has helped you to be who you are today in the business funding area?
My mother.
Mm-hmm.
I was born on her birthday. I was her last child. She was 33 when I was born. I was her 11th child, and I was born on her birthday. So we have a lot in common. And what she taught me was unconditional love, which is something that I saw her do, and it didn't matter what hurt her. She loved them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
She would give them the shirt off her back. I saw my mom make food for the people at the hospital. The people at the hospital still remember my mom to this day. They called it BUCMC, BCMC, Bernalillo County Medical Hospital or something. Now it's called UNM. But my mom worked there for forever. I don't know how many years. She retired from there. But she had made such an impact on those women over there, and everything that she did in that hospital. She would feed them. She would make her best of her bizcochitos. I mean, she taught me so much, so much. And celebrating our birthdays together was just always a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? We just always, up until she passed away, we had celebrated every birthday together. You know what I mean? And she just taught me the true essence of unconditional love. And It didn't matter what happened, no matter how bad it was, no matter what they did, it doesn't matter. It's all you can change by tomorrow. Everybody has that opportunity to change, she would say. You love them anyway. You just love them anyway. Love makes the world go around. That's my mom always said that.
Right.
I have 7 sisters and 3 brothers. There was 11 of us, and I was the baby. And no matter what, and my parents were married for, oh my God, I don't even want to get this wrong. I think it was 58 years. I'll have to confirm that before they passed away. And then my mother passed away 3 years after my dad passed away. Mm-hmm. And strictly from a broken heart. You know what I mean? They were together. They did everything together. And seeing my parents be together, and I think we spoke about this the other night, I never saw my parents argue. I never saw them fight in all the years that they were together. My mom honored my father with everything inside of her. Even if
Mhm.
she didn't like his actions, she still did what he said. Does that make sense? She
Yeah,
still honored him in everything she did. Even
right.
if she didn't like what he did, she still honored him. And she, Mia, that's his choice. That's the man. He's the household. And she taught me that. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? That they work together as a partnership, and they always did the work together as a family entity.
Mhm.
The family always worked together, no matter what was going on in the background. The work still had to get done in the house.
Mhm.
The chores had to be done. They had us up at 4:30 in the morning every morning, praying, and then we'd go out, and my mom, they would make us pray, and then they take us out and work on the fields, and everybody had a
Mhm.
chores we had to do. It wasn't an option. You had
Right.
to do it. We
Right.
didn't know any other way of life. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? They took us hunting to go teach us how, and took apart every piece of the animal and used it for something.
Mhm.
So my mother and my father both taught us how to be very resourceful, and
Mhm.
we, as young kids, had to go out there into we were trained how to hunt, and
Mhm.
if
Well,
you
listen.
were left out there, if you were left out there, you had to find your way back. And it
Mhm.
happened a lot. You're
Yeah.
left out in the range, getting an animal.
Ours wasn't quite that drastic, but of course you were taught how to hunt because I was taught how to hunt. No, I'm saying, of course you were.
I was we were raised on a ranch in
Yeah,
New Mexico,
yeah.
it's called Montecelo, and we
Mhm.
had horses. We had our own horses out there that we'd always go horseback riding, and cows. And
Mhm.
I shot my first. I shot. People are gonna, oh my God, you shot a rabbit. I shot a rabbit when I was 5 years old. I was
Mhm.
hunting snakes and chopping off snake heads. And
Listen. Of course you did. Of course you did. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm saying this because Christina has always traditionally just tried to take over my life. Okay, I just want to get up on this one, saying this. Because we have a lot in common, related to our past and present. So I'm like, of course you went hunting. Of course you shot a rabbit. Mine was rabbits, raccoons, squirrels, duck, geese. We did not go deer hunting, which was prominent in Michigan. But we
oh
didn't we didn't do that because there was a lot of drunk people. Not that there's not drunk people doing duck hunting and whatnot,
no.
but specifically, my dad said we're not doing that. So
It was
ice fishing
dangerous.
and all the stuff. So we digress a little bit about what we're supposed to be talking about, but she always tries to take over my stuff. I don't know why. This is very apropos that I want to, in another few minutes, I'll ask you a few more questions. Nancy Alert is in our background here, and she is over our wealth and investments portion. She's in real estate, and so she's one of the ones I wanted to introduce you to, her and Ava Scott. And so for her to be on here at the same time as you, this is great. We'll be able to have some cross connections with the two of you and actually do a formal online introduction of you all. So this is going to be great. So, so that was your past. And so we're talking Women's History Month. I have to keep slowing down when I say it. I'm going to say the slow down comment too. How are you making history in all of the things that we talked about? You are connected to everyone, but how are you making history these days?
The impact that we're making, we're really wanting to get businesses fundable
Hmm.
so that we can help those businesses create more work for the environment, right? If we get a business fundable, that business is going to be able to go out there and hire employees to create more impact, and those employees create more impact are going to be able to buy houses, right? And then the other thing we're doing is we're working with the group of people out in Atlanta that are working on sustainable housing. So all the groups that I'm working with are all working on sustainable housing in some way, shape, or form, whether it's through containers, whether it's through hempcrete, which is an amazing new product coming out on the market, whether it's through, any way possible that we can help create these environments for these housing for all these people that need housing right now. Sustainable,
Right,
affordable housing. And
right,
that's what we're trying to do. That's the impact we're trying to make right now.
right. And so I'm going to correct you on two accounts.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
I'm always correcting people with their words, so you
Okay.
already know that. So you said what you are doing, and it's what we are doing. So that's one, what we are doing. Because yeah, we're a part of Namaste, and there's some other things. And so Nancy's going to be really, she's back there like shaking her head yes on everything. She can't wait to come up here. And then you also said this is what we're trying to do. No, this is what we're doing.
Correct. You're right.
This is what we are doing, because these contracts are coming. You know, you've had where you've lived a life of honor and resourcefulness, and everything is like coming around now, where, you know, everybody wants to do these various interactions and initiatives and deals and whatnot. And so it's very, very extremely exciting. And like I said, I've been wanting to introduce the two of you. So I'm going to bring her up here in just one moment. She's backstage getting ready. I say she's getting ready. She's like, oh, yes, can't wait. She's a fireball. Okay, so you have all these different things that are going on right now. And I want you to just say a little bit about your company and give your website. And then we can ask one more question and bring Nancy up.
All right. My company, we also help with grant writing. So that's one of the big things that we help with as well. So anything that has to do with fundability. If your company needs funding, we can help you get that. Credentialing, and anything that has to do with funding. If you want to monetize your, we show you as well how to monetize your Facebook, Instagram, all those accounts. We show you how to get those monetizing. So that's another way, a smaller source of income that you can get coming into your business if all of them are fired correctly. We work with a great marketing company through Dr. Crystal Richardson. Will help you get your marketing paperwork, your marketing strategy and your marketing stuff that needs to be out there marketing, and show you how to get that monetizing. So any way that we can help you get monetizing your company, that's what we're going to help you do.
Excellent. Go ahead and give your website, and then we'll bring Nancy up with you.
Okay. NamasteBusinessFunding.com.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and spell that for those who don't know how to spell Namaste.
NAMASTE businessfunding.com.
And one more time.
NAMASTE businessfunding.com.
Excellent. So do you still have a few more minutes, Christina? I want to have where you both are on at the same time.
Absolutely.
You do? Yep. Absolutely. Awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to bring up none other than the Nancy Alert from the Alert Factor. I just love the name of her show. And she is a whirlwind when it comes to TV. She's been on all different kind of TV shows, and they feature her. It's like, oh my gosh, that's my girl Nancy on the TV selling houses. She's amazing. She's a part of our TCTC, the Canvas and the Clay Bible study group, and also a part of right here, Women of Impact and Innovation International. So I'm going to bring her up and introduce her, and then bring Christina back for us to have a little discussion about real estate and investing. Here we go. Let's put our hands together for the Nancy Alert. Hey.
Hello. Hi, Dr. Chris.
How are you?
Doing?
I am good. I saw you back there getting ready and
I know.
and everything.
I was like, is the shoulder right? Is the shoulder out? I was like, because this is like mirrored, right? And I've always gotten that wrong. Which shoulder am I touching?
You were getting it ready back there, girl. You were getting it ready. Okay, awesome. So you are an East Coaster, and go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we will get into a couple questions with Christina.
All right. Well, I'm Nancy Alert, and I'm known as the multifamily expert. Why? Because I've lost millions in the real estate industry, so you don't have to. As an expert, I've been featured in HGTV, BET, the American Dream TV. And what I do now is I show people how to create passive income and generational wealth by buying multifamily units and leveraging life insurance products with living benefits. I'm Nancy Alert. You live like you're rich. I up like I'm broke every day. You sleep like you're rich, and I'm up like I'm broke. I get it done every day.
Okay. A nice little ad there. Christina's like clapping in the background. because yeah, I mean, we have to have that urgency, that tenacity, right? And that's what you and I talk about, excuse me, a lot, is that there needs to be fire. And it's not just because you don't have, yeah, you have, but you go out there and you get her done, and you're hustling as if you don't, because
Exactly. That's what it
people
is.
are like,
Yeah.
oh, they sit back and they're just like, oh, okay, no, I'm doing good. No, I'm doing good, but I could be doing better.
Exactly. Exactly.
Excellent, excellent. So, who is a woman in history that has really, really inspired you to be who you are today?
Wow. Maybe I should have thought about that question earlier. I'm like, I
It's
should have
women,
known. That would have been the question. One
it's
of the
Women's History
questions.
Month.
Women's History Month. You know what's funny? I'm going all the way back. And it's two women that I think of when I think of Grace getting it done. And
Mhm,
with Grace, I think about Audrey Hepburn and
mhm.
I think about Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. I
Okay.
think,
Okay.
yeah, I think about those two women that, because that's how I want to, and I'm hoping that that's how I present myself, with grace and the get it done quietly. But for the women that I would say, oh, I see she's doing it, I can do this too, I would say Oprah Winfrey.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, to say that you wish you had thought about it, like you came up with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 answers, like, just right off the top. So,
And I didn't. I really didn't. It's just
yes, yes, and Oprah has her story, being in news and different things like that, and how
mhm,
she
mhm.
was able to just
Yeah,
continue to
yeah.
go,
And
adversity after
believed in herself. Because if she
adversity
didn't
after.
believe in herself, she would not have. Because you know how you always have people telling you, people in your ear telling you who you are or who you should be. And luckily, she did have. That's why you always have to have that one good ride or die that will be honest with you. And I guess that's Oprah's Gail.
Mhm.
She is there. She was the only one that tell her, yes, go to Chicago. You got this. You can do this. Whereas everyone else was saying, no, no, you
Right,
shouldn't do that.
right.
No, yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I just want to honor you as well, because you're one of those people, one of those ride or die people. So I really, really appreciate that. Really appreciate that, speaking life into my life, and Christina
Mhm.
as well, that's in the background speaking life. And so it is important for us to have those kinds of people in our life. And with the people that you named, the elegance,
Yes,
grace,
yes, yes.
and tenacity.
Mhm.
You've been around and maybe have heard, may not remember it, but have heard, my theme from last year was FIT, being focused, intentional, and tenacious. FIT, focused, intentional, and tenacious. And so those were ladies
Yes.
definitely that were focused and intentional on what it is. Like you have to be into, and you and I, we all about the dressing. Okay. We all about like how we show up.
Mhm.
Christina, who's backstage. I'm like, oh, I invited her to my church. I'm like, oh, you can wear whatever you want. She's like, no, wait. I've seen how you dress, and you're going to invite me to my church and say you can wear whatever you want. I'm like, how you dress.
Exactly. Now you get it.
But this is who I am. So yeah, so yeah, that is really, really great. So we're going to get into a couple conversations here with her, and I want to just bring her back up here, and have where we talk about this industry and how we together can help to shape history with what we're doing in real estate and investing. So Nancy, meet Christina. Christina, meet Nancy.
Hi,
Hey,
Christina.
beautiful, beautiful to meet you. You know what? I just got to say a couple of similarities. I'm not trying to marry you, but my daughter Jacqueline I named her after Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, and I
Oh,
saw her name the exact same way. And she's also one of my highly favored women that I've always loved and adored.
yes.
And Audrey Hepburn, yes,
Grace,
absolutely.
right? Just
Yes,
grace class.
and Miss Richardson, Dr. Crystal, if you did see how I put on the post yesterday,
Oh,
Everything that she just said was everything I put on that post yesterday, was it not? You
Oh,
are a
wow.
symbol.
Okay, so we got the synergy going here.
Absolutely, absolutely.
but
Yes, yes.
Christina is good at stealing everyone's lives. Okay, I just
No, it's a mirror. It's a mirror. We're mirroring each
We're
other.
mirroring. I like that better, Christina. We're
yeah, yeah, yeah.
mirroring.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, mirroring it still, like I used to go hunting. I'm like, are we the same person? 'Cause I used to go hunting with my dad, she was hunting with her dad, and shotgun at 5, and like I shotgun at
Wow.
4, like really, really, okay,
I haven't done any of
yeah.
that.
So we can say mirroring, but it's partially stealing with her. Okay, that out there. Okay, so let's get into the similarities in what we're saying related to how we help to elevate people, specifically related to real estate. And I know you're multifamily. You're more than multifamily though, Nancy. But what's something that we can do to share a few tips with people to help elevate them as we continue to make history? So Nancy did come for the conference, and she's all down at downtown, like looking up foreclosures and stuff. He never misses the opportunity to figure out
I
something.
don't.
Driving for dollars. It's called driving for dollars every day.
Yes.
Right,
Even
right,
when I
right.
travel out of the country, I always stop in at a real estate company. I need to know what's going on, because if I'm going to be an international, which I am, right? An international speaker, an international realtor, I need to know what's happening internationally, right?
Right,
So,
right.
yeah, I did stop into Maricopa County office to find out what is the process for tax lien. Yes.
Mhm.
I got you. I got you on the tax liens.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So that's why I'm mentioning that. So, like I said, Christina is well connected. So we're going to be doing some things with her Miss Nancy. So let's just talk about that though. Like what you do, no matter where it is you go, Dubai or like wherever it is that you go, like you're always in search of. So talk a little bit about that process.
Okay, so most people would say, I'm a realtor, I'm a this, I'm a that. Me, I am a wealth strategist. I want you to be able to create wealth in your life. So I give you strategies, right? I give you strategies in how to change your financial outlook, how to be responsible for your own financial blueprint so you don't need anyone. And I'm not speaking about men specifically, because I want to have a man. I want to have a husband and a boyfriend or whatever. So I'm not saying don't have that, but what I'm saying is I want you to be in a position where you don't rely on that for your financial security, right? So I teach people how to use what they already have to elevate their lives. So it's not like, oh, I have to go find more money, Nancy. Where am I going to get the money? I only use the money I have. No, using the money you have to make it better. For example, with all that we have that's going on in our country right now, whether you're retiring voluntarily or you're retiring forcefully, right? What are you going to do? How are you going to take yourself to the next level? What are you going to do with your money? And one of the things I'm telling people is, if you're with the government, your TSP, which is in the stock market, I'm not a stockbroker. I'm a strategist, and I give you the strategies to create wealth, right? Don't leave your TSP where it is. Don't leave, and the 401k, I'm going to digress for 1 second, Dr. Crystal. The 401k, let me see how to say this as a Christian woman that was baptized last year. It's bullshit. Um, It is. You know, the 401k came into play, I think it was in 1978. And it was, people don't remember, we have short-term memories, that it was created because at that time, taxes were 70%. So the government said, how can we help our citizens? How can we help our people pay less taxes? So they created the 401k, which means, ladies and gentlemen, it's not that you're not paying taxes. It's a delayed, it's deferred. You're paying it later. So follow me right now. You're making $100,000 right now. Would you rather pay taxes on $100,000, or would you rather pay taxes on 500,000 or $1 million? Because that's what you're doing right now. Because the taxes are not 70% right now, but you're deferring it all to later, and hopefully you're building it up, and it should be 500,000 or $1 million in there, right? So now, when you're ready, because there are those RMD, required minimum distribution. Even if you don't want it, you don't need it, you're not ready for it, bless you to be in that position. The government is making you take money at 72, and
Mhm.
you will be taxed on it then. So I tell people, remove your money, put it in a vehicle where I could show you how you can use the dividends and the interest to pay your taxes now. So you're not using your money to pay the taxes. So when you get that $1 million at 72 or whenever, you are paying how much? Zero taxes. That's how I help people create wealth. In addition to buying buildings, everyone should own a 4-unit building. You should own a 4 unit. If you're young and starting out and you don't own anything, buy a 4-unit building, live in one, rent the other 3 out. Then when you get married and you get ready to have your kids, you rent all 4 out and go live in that mega mansion, and let the 4 unit pay for your
Mhm.
extravagant life that you want to live now.
Mhm. Mhm. And that is just exactly what we did related to the TSP, like
Yeah,
move it,
move
move
it,
it.
move it,
And the
move it.
401k, Nancy, it had its place. Like
Yes, it
it
did.
did have it had its
It
place.
did. It
It
had.
had, do you hear me? Hear
Yes.
me?
Okay.
Had. We saying the same thing, so it's just a matter of, with us both being wealth strategists, and even, what Christina does as well. It's just understanding the history and then moving forward, because
Mhm.
things, back then, it helped people
It did.
have something at least for retirement, at that particular time frame. But with the economy that we're in right now, the way things are going, there's a lot of better ways
Mhm.
for us to be able to help
Yeah,
people.
there are. There are so many different ways and better ways for you to, um, guaranteed ways for you to not lose any money.
Mhm.
Make a lot of money when the market is up, but lose $0 when the market is down. All you have to do is book a call with me, and I'll show you how to
Mhm.
get to the wealth, how to keep your money, because
Mhm.
you can learn how to make money. But what people forget to do is learn how to keep the money that you make, or
Right.
scale the money, make more money. Nobody's
Mhm.
teaching us how to do that. And that's what I do. I show you how to make the money, how to keep the money, and how to divorce Uncle Sam, because he's not your uncle. He's your husband that you married to, that you didn't know you were married to, and you didn't have a prenup. I'm just saying.
Facts.
Christina,
Facts.
you see what I'm saying about Miss Nancy?
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Ah, okay,
Yes.
and so what Christina does, I don't know if you heard that part, helping businesses understand how to be funded and be fundable.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so what's your comments, Christina, on some of what she was just saying?
Oh my God, there's so much. I think it's great. And so what I used to do, I owned in downtown Glendale, I owned 4 sets of fourplexes. That was part of the business that I owned.
Yeah. Good for you. Good for you.
Uh, but they're all gone now. We sold them. But I'm helping people do this, teaching people how to do the exact same thing. And if we can teach everybody to have one fourplex and then their own house
And then also, ma'am,
and
teach
rent.
them how not to sell them, because multifamily units is for creating generational wealth. It's not to flip, it's not to sell. But if you have 3 or 4, you can sell one. But it's for you to hold on to,
Right.
so that That's how you live your retirement the best way possible. And that's how you pass it on to the next generation so they too can keep doing what you did.
Right, because the money can continue to come in, continue to
Exactly,
come in.
exactly. As long as you
And
take care of the building, the money
right,
will come every month. Every month, the
right.
money comes.
The show
Yeah.
I did this morning was on mindset and money. And so it's funny that we're not funny, but that we're talking about this because it's all in alignment with that. You have to be in the long-term game, the long-term game. And then teaching your children so that they're in the long-term game as well, because otherwise it'll get sold. Like we were the founders. Our family was one of the founding families in Boyne City, Michigan. And land buildings and everything way back. And now, like, we're in the museum, we're in the city hall, our family name, but there's nothing.
Know that.
Wow. You see, that's
So
because they didn't have you then.
they
Now they
didn't.
have you.
Right. It's like for us to have nothing, and that is a booming area business wise, and like a ski resort, and like just a really nice community and whatnot. And it's just so sad. We can go up there for family reunion and see ourselves in the museum, but no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
you know
it's
how you can do that, Dr. Crystal and Christine? So in the strategies that I give people, it's one of the things, if when you're starting to make money, you have to put yourself in vehicles to protect your money and protect the family. So the things that you need, forget the will, you need a trust. And
Right.
what I tell people, when you're leaving for the next generation, you have to teach them. You can't just leave it. You have to teach them what you did and let them know what is your intention for the family. And then put it in the trust.
Put
You
it in the trust.
cannot, this property cannot be sold, right? You
Right.
put it in the trust, whether you save for 50 years or 100 years or 20, whatever it is, cannot be sold. And that's the way, Dr. Crystal, your family could have still been in Michigan if
Yeah,
somebody
I don't want
knew.
to talk about that part.
I
Okay,
know.
right. So,
Yeah,
but we
I
know
brought up
now.
the example, but yeah, I don't even want to talk about that part. But that's why my friend Laurel Langmeyer, we have the book. I don't know if I mentioned that to you. How it's Make Your Kids Millionaires, and so it goes from age 0 to 4, 5 to 9, and like all of that up through 18. And so it's what you help to establish for them while they're children, like even before they're born, but then the education that you give them along the way so that they don't even know it's an education. They just, at the dinner
They just
table,
know.
this is what we talk about at the dinner table. And it's not forced on them. It's just how they grow up. And then we don't even have to have these conversations and have the PTSD that I have right now related to what happened with my family.
Yeah. We just have to be prepared.
It is so true, because had I not, I mean, I don't even want to think about, I can't even think about what happened if I would have kept all those properties, because it would have, as my husband had told me, he didn't want me to do that no more. He says, no, it's too much work for you, blah, blah, blah. I honored what he said. And now I think about it like, God, but it's okay. Just start over. And, but I know better now, and I know how to do it better now. So that's the difference right now.
Right. And you don't have to do it
over it alone. That was my biggest thing, is I was thinking I've been doing it alone,
No, you don't have to do that. And I think that's when people become frustrated and they have, the work life, the husband life, the children life, and now the property management life. That is not your life. You sleep, collect your check, and you let somebody else. The 8% people, the 8 to 10% people, let them do the 8%, 10% work, and you go do your other work. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to get a property manager, blah, 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 pay 8 to 10. But look how much time you're diverting. Look how much time you're taking away from your family and from your peace, so you can deal with that. No, pay the people the 8% and go sleep at night and collect your check.
And you know what, though? The funny thing was, I managed all the properties.
That's what I'm saying.
It was I managed it through me and my daughters. I had all my daughters set up. They would take the calls. They would go and collect the rent for me and stuff like that. So I created my own little network inside my family. But I know now that all the online stuff we can do is so different, and you can do that now. Back then, I didn't have that. Keep in mind, this was years ago, but we did all
Right.
that. And we handled all the 47 properties we had. Me and my daughters did. It was quite amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
All on paper.
So I really appreciate the discussion, ladies. And yeah, I don't know that I think I mentioned it to Christina. I didn't mention it to Nancy yet, but I am going to have you, Nancy, in my book that's coming out related to unlocking and unblocking wealth. And it is related to investments and real estate using AI as well. And there's a lot of different things that we can do using automation and AI, ladies. And even part of what we're talking about right here on how to set up those systems and have VAs and whatnot. But even the instructions that you give on how you want them to act and respond, like all the scripts and everything, like AI is just amazing. And that is part of what I do and why we are able to have and having a good financial advisor and stuff too, you know, depending on who it is that you want to use for that. Again, not doing all of that alone. And so we've really, really been blessed. And I asked her if I could mention, you know, what we do with them or their name. And she said that that's not allowed. So I just have to say that everything is going well, you know, for us. And if anybody wants to know, then I can give like a personal referral. But all of this is great and it's key. And so thank you, Christina, for being with us today. And I'll be back in touch this week on some of our initiatives and also to put you and Nancy in contact with one another for Women's Impact and Innovation, what we're doing there and related to the book that I mentioned that's coming out. I really like the cover. I hope you all do too. And I'll be getting information out starting in April, which tomorrow is April. Oh my gosh. So, I kept saying like April on different.
We're already
April.
Where did it go?
Wow. Yeah, it's great. Well, thank you so much, Christina, and you be blessed. And Namaste Business Funding is off and running, and we wish you all the best. Thank you for being a part of women's history.
Thank you for allowing me to be a part.
Looking forward to getting together with you, Christina.
Likewise, exactly, absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Namaste.
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 So, Nancy, tell us a little bit about Dr. Crystal. You're so funny. Tell us a little bit about what it is that you do. Like you've mentioned what you do, but as far as helping to make history, you have any like testimonials, anything that someone has said to you like, wow, Nancy, you really helped us this or helped that, and we can't believe this or believe that, and blah, 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 blah. What's some testimonials you have?
Well, I have two that I can think of off the top of my head.
Okay.
One of my clients, his name is Adil, and I met him way at the beginning of my real estate career. And this year, September, I would have been a realtor for 30 years. I am 30 years in. I can't believe full-time, all in 30 years, 100% commission. Yes.
Wow.
So I met him, it has to be maybe 1999 or 2000, because I started in 1996. And when I met him, he was single, wasn't dating anyone. And on and off, he was looking for his first place and we couldn't find it. And I don't know if it was 3 or 4 or 5 years later, because I know when I sold him the property, he was married and had a kid on the way, right?
Oh, wow.
I know. But what I did, because I found out that, oh my God, I can't find what he's looking for. And that was the first time. And it was so funny. It was so successful, but it was still the last time I did cold calling. I don't know, because I don't like cold calling. But I picked up the phone and called some people. It's like, hey, I know you tried to sell your home. It didn't sell. It looks like it would be a perfect situation for a client of mine, blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, okay, we'll think about it. And then they call me back, yeah, we want to sell, blah, blah, blah. And so I don't know if it was in, like I said, 1999 or 2000, he bought this property for $280,000. And why I love that property for him, it's a 2-level Rambler. It had a pool in the back and it had a greenhouse in the back. And
Mhm.
more importantly, on the side, coming in on on a different street, it was a two-level. Well, the previous owner said it was a pool house, but it was a two-level, two complete apartments, one on
Mm.
each level. So two bedroom, one bath with kitchen and everything, right on each level. And I'm like, oh, you can rent this, right? And this was before Airbnb and all of that, right? And he bought that property for 280, and I think I got him like 20 or $25,000 in closing costs because that's what was going on at the time, right? Fast forward, that property is worth over $1 million now. And he took equity from that property, and I sold him a 4 unit building in DC for 280, and several other properties in DC, including a commercial space. He got the money from the house I sold him, right, to do that. So now he's like, thank you very much. He's a multimillionaire because of me. So I'm like, yeah, okay, that's how we do it. And my, my other client, it's this one is more emotional for me because I started this because a couple of my elderly clients had passed, and their wives couldn't afford to pay the mortgage, so they had to sell the home, which they didn't want to, but they had to sell the home. So I decided at the time, okay, I'm gonna get my life insurance license, because if I am going to sell you one of your largest assets, I'm going to show you how to protect it. And so I went and I got it. Not was to sell life insurance, but was to focus on my real estate clients and help them buy mortgage protection. And
Right.
so one of my clients, she is like, I am so glad that you did this for me, because some of the things I almost make my clients get, because I'm like, listen, I'm not getting any of this money for you. They're like, well, you're just going at me like this is your funds. No, I want you to take care of you and your family, right? I
Right.
want you to take care of you and your family. I don't want to see a GoFundMe should
Right.
something happen. I don't want to see that. That is not what GoFundMe is there for. And so now my clients, they all have mortgage protection. So should something happen to one of them, they get to keep the asset and they get the money. So if they can afford to pay it, then they can buy another asset. And this is how I say, this is how you create generational wealth, right? Because I tell people, here's a short look. You buy, you rent, you live, you die, you pass it on. And what that is, you buy your property, but it's a 4 unit or a single family home, a condo, right? Either you live in it or you rent it, you collect your checks, and when you are ready to retire, you take all of the equity out and live your best life with it, right? Live your best life with it. And then when you die, because we all gonna, no one is making it out alive,
Right.
you
Right.
pass that property on to your beneficiaries. But here's the hack. When you bought the property, you bought mortgage protection. So when you put the asset onto your beneficiary, they get the asset. And if you had paid $500,000 for it, they get the asset and they get $500,000. So now, if the asset is cash flowing, they don't need to do anything but take that money and go buy another asset and continue to do the same thing. And that's how you create generational wealth. And you put in that deed or in that trust, this property is not to be sold for 20, 30, 40 years after my death or what have you.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's how I am making a difference in the lives of anyone that wants me to, but my focus is on women in the Black and Brown community.
Yeah. And when we did our show, we talked about financial preparedness, and
Mhm.
the trust is definitely key, and having those stipulations in there. And some people have said that they do have a will or a trust, but when was it made? Like 1,000 years ago. So that maintenance of that is key. The maintenance is so key. Like you're like, yes, yes. I remember when we did that show, it was such a great one. We probably need to do it
Yeah.
again. But
You know how once a year, I don't know if you do it, but you're supposed to do it, change the batteries in your smoke detector. People choose
your
April to do
filters,
that, right?
your air filters
Right?
in your house every 6 months.
Exactly. So I tell people, listen, if you have pets, you should be changing your filters every month. If you
Mhm.
don't, every quarter, right? Clean air, clean air. This is why we have all these issues, right? So when you are doing all these quarterly, annually things, think about your will. Think about your life insurance policies. Have them review. It's free to do that. Have them review by someone because when you got it, it was perfect for your situation at the time. Your situation could have changed. You could have adopted a child. You could have given birth. You could have gotten married, got a divorce, all of these different things. So now you review it to make sure that you could have moved to a different state. Your will, is it correct for the state that you're currently living in? Because
Right.
some states require 5 witnesses, some require 2 witnesses, some doesn't require witnesses. Have an annual review. It does not cost you anything, but it could cost you
It could
everything.
cost you everything. Right, right. And one of the things in the book is a trigger list. A
Mhm.
trigger list. What are those things? The book that I mentioned that's not out yet.
Yes.
I'm giving like a sneak peek of part of it.
All
Is a
right.
trigger list. Like, what are those things in your life that could cause you a shift where
Mhm.
you then do need to go and make some adjustments? And
Mhm.
so you mentioned like you move, you have a different health condition, even like the economy is different. You give birth, you buy
Yes.
a house, you have a new job. There was a commercial where this guy, he was just like, oh my gosh, she has like 2 jobs, and then it was something else. She had the lady, oh, he was a tax preparer or something, and he was
Mhm.
just getting really excited because that means that there's other things that he can potentially help her with. And the same thing with what you're saying and what we do. uh, People just need to understand what those triggers are. And it might be before the annual. You
Mhm.
might need to go and see. Oh,
Right.
I
Right.
have one. There is a difference now with a child who is not necessarily acting responsibly as an
Mhm.
adult child, that maybe you want to change your will or your trust. They
Exactly.
are not acting responsibly, and it's been going
Exactly.
on for a while. And
Like
if
they can't get all this money because you don't know what they'll do with it. It's rationed. It's in
if and
different
when
ages.
if and when we're going to get some, they're going to get something, it will be that someone will have to
Monitor it.
monitor it, and not just monitor it, Nancy, have where they are the different person is responsible for their disbursements.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
and then monitor that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so there's a number of things related to the trigger. So unlocking and unblocking wealth. It's going to be a great book. But
I
once
can't wait. I can't wait. And it's gonna be great because also too, I'm gonna be part of it. Oh wow, yeah.
right, right. With that trigger list, you need to know what your triggers are and have them top of mind. Because when one of those things come up, you're like, oh, okay. Because my daughter, I learned that from my daughter when she was, I think, what, 4 years old. She was planning her birthday party. She's a planner, our youngest daughter. She had her list already, 4 or 5 years old, was putting people, couldn't hardly write, writing them on the list. And something happened. She crossed people off her list. And then she had where she would add people. I'm like, where'd you get this from? Probably from me, on different things that she's seen all my different lists around the house. But she was a planner. She's like, oh no, Bobby can't come because of blah, 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 blah. So by the time her birthday came in August, she had her 33 people that she wanted to have at her party. And
Right.
the play place, I think it was like Chuck E. Cheese or something back then. No, Peter
Mm.
Piper or something. They said, well, you normally put on the list like 50% more, like, more people than
Mm.
more children than
Mm-hmm.
you want to actually have. Like you do a
Right.
package for 25, just add that you're going to invite 30 some or whatever, because a lot of times people won't come.
Mm-hmm.
Every single person came to her party, plus some of them bought like a brother and sister. So we end up having to pay like $1 bazillion. It wasn't $1 bazillion, but the
I hear you. I hear you. Yeah.
how she did her planning, those were all like 100% definites, like over
Right.
100%, you know
Right.
what I'm saying? But she was
Wow.
so having those lists and understanding what your triggers are, she had some triggers of who was going to be on her list and not. So it's the same for our wills and
Right.
the trust. is
Yes.
understanding that. Yeah.
And when to do these things. One quick short story. I think it was last year when I was in Italy. I met this lady, and she did a video for me for my insurance business. And she said that her husband was switching jobs, and he canceled the insurance on the job he was leaving because he was going to start the new job. And once he did the paperwork, well, sadly, he got into a car accident and died,
Mm.
and did not have any insurance because it was right in between. So, and she did this video. She had just met me, and I was telling her what I do. She's like, "Oh my God, I have a store for you, and I will do a video so that others won't do the same thing." So don't cancel any insurance until you have the new insurance in place, because you don't know what's just like your car insurance. You can't cancel that before you get the new one activated. Most people are taking care of their cars, their phones, their computer better than they're taking care of their best best asset, which is themselves.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Financial preparedness is key. It's really key. It
Mhm.
really is. And we've counseled, folks on that as well. Oh, such and such is happening. Oh, that's happening. It's the trigger
Yeah.
alert. The
Yeah.
trigger. It's like, okay, I'm going to be checking with you on Monday. Like, this needs to be done like now, like ASAP. Did you go? Like, okay, came up in my phone. Did you go? Did you take care of this? Did you take care of this? Especially
Exactly.
senior
And
citizens.
knowing if you're a we, because I like to tell people I'm a me and I, so I'm in control, and I have to make sure everything is the way it's supposed to be. But if you are a we and us, yes, it is best for one person to take care of certain things, and one person take care of certain, but quarterly you should come together and discuss what all it is you have, what all it is you owe, who you owe, and how you're going to tackle that, and where is everything. There is no, my husband handles all of that. So if something unexpectedly happened today, do you know where everything is that you need to know?
Nancy, I teach business continuity, disaster recovery, risk management. That's part of my specialty. Unfortunately, California fires, any fire, earthquake, all the things going over Thailand, like people just losing stuff, and the tsunamis, like whatever it is, it's a natural disaster. Not ready.
Not
Not
ready.
ready. No, no, because lockbox, online, whatever it is, like, does somebody else like an alternate location for stuff? Like anything that you need to do,
Have a
have
fireproof safe at home.
have that. What'd you say?
Have a fireproof safe
Yeah,
at
yeah,
home.
yeah, yeah.
Have a fireproof safe at
And
home, and at least
fireproof safe,
discuss.
fireproof file cabinets. They're
Yep.
like 800 and some pounds or whatever. So you'd have to have somebody move it. But
Mhm.
but people, even COVID,
Yeah.
all these different things, they keep coming up. And so if you are still alive, why are we not taking these precautions and
Right.
these cautionary measures?
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah.
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 So there's a
Just
question for
discuss.
you, Miss Nancy.
Yes.
So Patty, she's so sweet. You know Patty Mays. I think I can't pronounce her last name right, but I know her who she is. I think you know who she is too by her face. She says, please share about inheritance, beneficiary, and investment taxes.
Okay, so that right there is a whole mouthful of situations, because it depends on where you live, right? What state you're in. It also depends on how much money it is we're talking about, and it also depends on who you're leaving the money to. Because, like for example, I don't have any children, so when you leave to your direct children, adopted or the ones you've given birth to, um, you don't pay taxes. But if you're leaving to, like for me, niece and nephews and what have yous, then there are tax ramifications. However, I can definitely show you. It doesn't matter if you live in any state, USA. I can show you how to protect your money, what avenues, what vehicles to put them in where you don't lose any money. And when it's time, it reduces the inheritance tax. And also, too, one of the reasons why you need a trust is because if you own properties in different states, then you don't have to do probate because the trust owns everything. So I hope that takes care of some of some of your answers. However, you reach out to me and I will be happy to go in depth with you based on where you live, because it all based on what state you're in, because each state has different thresholds for how much money you can leave before it's taxed and how much it's taxed, and depend on whom you're leaving it to, what that tax situation is. So I'm www.thealertfactorlive.com, and just click on book a call, and it's a free consultation. You have an hour and we can talk about whatever you want to talk about: finances, real estate, starting a business, whatever you want to talk about. That hour we can discuss that. I can't hear you, Dr. Crystal. I can't hear you, Dr. Crystal.
I know. I looked and the message came up, you are on mute. I'm like, oh Lord. So I was like, I know. Yeah. So ladies, as we mentioned, in Women of Impact and Innovation International, we are going to be having more lives, and there are going to be different things that you'll be able to get with some of our master classes and things that will be coming up. Also, you can schedule a call with Nancy. You can schedule a call with myself, like whoever it is that you want to schedule a call with. Nancy is a wealth of information, and she's been featured on, the HGTV and BET and this T and that T TV, like that. And all of
in Black Enterprise magazine.
Yeah, Black Enterprise magazine and whatnot. So she is the real deal and has a lot of knowledge. And as she said, she's lost millions in these markets so that you don't have to. Mm-hmm. And part of it is not just losing, it's a matter of the educational part. So this year, I've claimed at the end of last year is a year of literary work. And so we are going to be doing more with, with these various books and ebooks and actual physical books and Amazon bestseller, international bestseller, whatever, like that's there too, but it's not a matter of that. It's a matter of you getting the information that you need so that you can live a better life, and the generations to come can as well. So these wealth strategies are very extremely important. So really glad to be able to have her on today, and schedule a call. The Alert Factor Live.com is her email. The Alert Factor Live.com. I was like, oh, I love the Alert Factor. When I first met her, I'm like, that is such a cool name. So
you just go on there and book a call with me.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. All right. So with that being said, appreciate you being on. Is there something that's fun that you have coming up in your future? You're always doing some different things and whatnot. Anything fun? Anything?
Well, the only thing fun I could think of, what is today? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Whichever day is the third. I'm going to a gala, so I'm always excited for when I have to put a gown on. I'm always excited for that when I have to put a gown on. I'm like, yes, let's do this. Mm-hmm. And also, which is May 26th. On the 25th, I'm actually going to, I think it's some kind of celebrity polo match in Baltimore, Maryland. Mm-hmm. Then for my birthday, I'm planning a trip to the Maldives.
Okay. Yeah, Nancy is well traveled. I think we're all well traveled. That's a part of this group. We love to get out and go and whatnot. And I mentioned to you about our Kenya trip, and I still want to have you come in October for that. Kenya, it's going to be it's a speakers event, business event, as well as ministry. So you get to sign up for like whichever parts you want to be a part of. Would love to have you over there educating folks and whatnot too. So that'll be in October. We'll talk about that in a bit. So
Oh, can't wait, can't wait. Before I leave, I would just like to give one advice.
sure.
Um, and it's to any and everyone who's listening, but women, this is 2025, and I want you all to create your own voice and let it be your voice. This life that you're living right now, it's your life. This is your race you're running. You're not running Susie's race. You're not running John's race. You're running, like I'm running Nancy's race. I am Nancy against Nancy. I am never competing with anyone else. I'm competing against myself. And there's always going to be people in your ear telling you who you should be and who you are. But as long as you know who you are and as long as you stand for something, you're not going to fall for everything and you're not going to succumb to peer pressure. You know who you are, stand on who you are and go get it. I'm Nancy Alert, wealth strategist, getting it done every day. And I like to end it with saying, you sleep like you rich, I'm up like I'm broke. I get it done. Yes.
You sleep like you rich. I'm up like I'm broke. You're so funny. That's
Yes.
good. That's good. Yeah. It's about getting it done, having that tenacity to just live each day with a sense of urgency.
Hmm.
And I think that that's something that is a gift because a lot of people there's no judgment. It's just a statement that live as if tomorrow is promised. Live as if tomorrow is promised, and it's not.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So what is it that we want to do? And as Judith says here, stand. Yeah, stand. What is it that we want to stand on? What is it that we want to even be known for? When we left, yeah, we've all made mistakes. We all have potential things that could be considered shortcomings. But what is the legacy that we want to leave at the end of the day? And everyone
Mhm.
knows that Nancy was a go getter, and Nancy Alert. She lived her life on full alert.
Yeah. Stand on principle, stand on values, stand on faith in God. Because without that, we have nothing. And that's what I want to be known as. So a woman. I was Nancy was a woman of God. Nancy was a true believer, had faith in God, and Nancy was one of those ride or die for everyone that was in her circle. She will stand behind you 100%.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, and then we'll end. But one of the assignments, I'm a principal of a Bible Institute, and one of the assignments that they have every year, the students, some of them are like, oh my gosh, because they have to write their own obituary.
Mm.
So having to actually write that of like
Wow.
what you think other people would say, or how they feel
Right.
about your life, based on what you're saying. And it's totally different when you're writing it yourself. It's
Mhm.
not the same as writing a bio or a CV.
Right. Right.
Yeah, your
Yes.
resume. Yeah, yeah. What do you want to be known
But
as?
you could get some information for that. You know how you can get some information for that. I was doing an assignment when I was in Forbes Riley next level. I think it was a speaker class or something. And I put out a Facebook post. I said, I'm doing an assignment, and my assignment is for me to ask the people in my circle, when
Hmm.
you think of me, what do you think of? What are some words that, like 3 to 5 words, that you would
Right.
use to describe me? And then you get what people are saying, and then you can work on that obituary.
Mhm, mhm. Excellent. Excellent. Awesome. Well, beautiful and knowledgeable as usual. Thank you, Miss Nancy. And you just have a blessed day the
You
rest of
too.
and appreciate you being on. And remember, you are a woman making history here on the last day of Women's History Month. Thank you so
All
much.
right. Thank you, Dr. Crystal.
All right. Bye-bye. Well, that was Nancy Alert. We really appreciate her being on, and we had Christina earlier. We have a few other people that are supposed to be on. We're going to try to see if they can get on here in the next few moments as we finish up our broadcast for today. But I just want to encourage everyone to get involved with a group of women making history. And Women of Impact and Innovation is just that. We are a Christian women's organization. We accept anyone and everyone of like minds, I would say. And it is where we have a number of committees. The two people on this morning were in relation to wealth and investments. My particular area is innovation and technology. And so if you have a really good grasp on AI and have something that you want to share with us, or even a really good grasp of what it is that you do to create wealth in your immediate family and for generations to come, we would love to have you potentially even be involved in the book project that I was talking about, my own personal book. But to be involved in that particular community in wealth and investments, everybody needs to have a strong foundation there. One of the other strong foundational areas that we have is in relation to health and wellness, because without our health, a lot of people say our health is our wealth. Without our health, then it's hard for us to be able to focus on all of the other initiatives that we want to, because we are ill, because we have to go slower, or we can't go at all, or we can't even be on our computer because we're laid up, or whatever it is. I know a lot of things you can do on your phone, but the point is that taking care of our health is very extremely important. So our health and wellness team has a number of things that they've done for us and with us over the past. And they will be getting more involved in these months to come over the summer as we lead up to the end of this year, us having our next annual summit. So we will be giving you more information on that. Another strong area is having good business foundation. So our business and leadership team, and that's headed by Lotus Rache. And so again, ladies, sometimes we get caught up because there's certain things that we did not necessarily maybe set up properly, or we just didn't know where to go or what to do. And so having people that are good, strong leaders that you can use as role models and get some tips from in business is good as well. And this is women serving women, because there are men that are in all of our lives, and it's nothing against men, but this is a women's group, and this is looking at how we can honor those related to Women's History Month. This being the last day of that, we wanted to just have this show to bring on a few more people and have where we honor them as well, and see how are they making history. And so it's very important for us to take the time to do this. And why is that? Well, celebrating one another is key. A lot of us are doing a lot of things, and we're making a lot of great strides in our life and in our own personal business. But if people don't know about it, then it's not where we would have the impact that we could have if we just shared. So in Women of Impact and Innovation International, if you're not already a member of that private Facebook group, you can message me, or you can actually type in WOIII, and then you could bring up the Facebook group and ask for an invitation. That's WOIII, and it will bring up the rest of the name of Women of Impact and Innovation International. We would love to have you in the Facebook group, or maybe even on a panel or a speaker or an author for our next summit that we have coming up the end of this year. So it would be great to have you as part of that. And right now, as I mentioned, we're culminating the celebration of this month in women's history. And we will have some other things coming up each month where you can get on and share about your business. And so if you're interested in sharing, we can give you information on how to be not just a member of the Facebook group, but just with a small investment. I don't know if it's like $99 a month or something like that. We will do screening, and then have where we agree that you would be able to share monthly related to your business. So we love to have you do that. And Patty, it's not WOIII.com. The WOIII is what you can put into Facebook in order for you to pull up the rest of the name. The name for, let's see if this will let me post. Cannot post comment to some, just let me see. The actual website is womenoiii.com. Let's see if it allowed me to put that, womenoiii.com. You can let me know if it showed that. And because I typed it in, so hopefully it showed on the actual broadcast. Womenoiii.com is the website. And on Facebook, WOIII is what you can put in to bring up the Facebook group. And we would love to have you, and actually not just have you in there, but hear from you and have you share your expertise. All right. So we have Miss Alexander is behind stage. You're welcome, Patty. It's really great to see you and hear from you on here. It's been a minute since we've seen each other in person, so maybe we'll be able to do that at some point soon. We have Miss Alexander is behind stage waiting, and she, I believe, is our last speaker for today. Last speaker, panelist, person that's going to be on, and we will culminate with her. So let me make sure I have my notes ready. And we will go ahead and get started. All right. So without further ado, here is Miss Alexander.
Hello.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you.
Hi. Yes, you as well.
Thank you. And where are you coming in from these days? Where are you living?
So I'm in Chandler, Arizona. Been here for 4 years, but I'm originally from the Midwest, from Iowa, actually.
Iowa. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a Michigander myself. So
Oh, nice.
yeah. Excellent.
I
Well,
love it here.
welcome on. I love the hair and the outfit and everything
Thank
going on.
you.
The little print in the back as well. Very,
Thank
very
you.
nice. Very nice. So go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we'll have a few questions.
Okay. Yeah, so I've been an entrepreneur as long as I've known, since I was a kid. Kind of grew up in the music, art scene, and then became an entrepreneur back in 2017. I was just kind of tired of managing properties. I managed about 480 properties back in Omaha, Nebraska. 2017, I decided to take my art business full time and started painting on canvases and creating my own clothing line with my artwork. And then in 2018, I became a certified commercial drone software developer. I have training in AI and machine learning, embedded systems, coding, a lot of stuff. I did that for about 3 years. Then I created a company called Engineering Women and moved to Arizona, as Arizona is getting ready to be the next AI tech hub here. I kind of was getting ahead of myself moving down here, moving my business here. When I moved here, I've always been in the restaurant hospitality industry as well growing up. So I come from a family of chefs, and I've been a sous chef for as long as I can know. Bartended a lot. So when I moved here, I started an event company called Zen Events. My event company took off like the first year I was here, kind of all word of mouth. We have a lot of mobile bartenders, wait staff, DJs, caterers, things of that sort. And that really helped me get in the field to network for my engineering company. So that's kind of what I do full time now. Is I'm looking for funding to get our engineering, the Freedom Foundation, which is a project we're working on now, which is really just a home and a tech hub for things all AI and art, music, things of that sort. Just a space to get creative. We do incorporate health and wellness as well. I'm real big on yoga and breath work and all those things just to keep life going. So yeah, that's what brought me to AZ, is just the opportunities. It's just like an oyster here, I feel like, in the land of opportunities. So that's how I ended up here.
Excellent. Well, we
Yeah.
have so much in common
I
because
saw.
yeah, my background is in engineering as well, and I have an
Yeah.
engineering company and working with women and all of that. And I love to cook and the whole AI part, and and the list kind of goes on and on. I design my own clothing and whatnot. And
Love
so,
it.
yeah. So there's a lot. So, and you're right here. So we definitely need to get
For
to
sure.
in person and
Yes.
online stuff. But yeah, so when you think about all of what you just said, and what I know, related to your background, this is Women's History Month, the culmination. So same question for you. Is there a woman in your past or a woman that you know or don't know
Hmm.
that has really inspired you
Yeah.
to be and do all of what you're able to be and do?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely my grandma, my dad's mom. She was just a go-getter, a self-taught, self-leader, which she created my dad. He
Where's she
is
from? Where's your grandma from?
from Waxahachie, Texas.
Texas. Okay.
Yeah, that's where my dad and my grandma are from. But I come from a family of leaders and artists. My dad was a lead singer of a band my whole life. My uncle's a drummer. Um, I come from the music and creative background, and that all comes from my grandma. She made them, pick up an instrument. My dad played the harmonica, and
My
it
dad
was,
too.
yeah, it was just like we
Wait,
learned just.
okay, so the harmonica and the ukulele. Did your dad play the
He
ukulele
didn't play
too?
the ukulele. He played the bongos. And then, yeah, my uncle he was the drummer. So he was always, I mean, it was just 24/7 music
Right. Hmm.
and life. It just feels like, that was the good days. It was
Right.
just bred life all the time around me. But my grandma, she started all that. She's just a creative and a hustler. She's a go-getter, and she puts her mind to whatever she wants. And I'm her 100%.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
And I like and it's good when people mention people that are in industry, or people from the past, or
Yeah.
you know uh, famous people and whatnot. But when people say, "Oh, well, it was my mom, or it was my aunt, or my grandmother, my great grandmother that inspired me," I just love those stories because it's
Yeah.
home. It's from home, right?
Yeah.
And so, and you mentioned other people in your family too,
Yeah.
all the different instruments, everyone's playing in all the music. It was the same with me. I come from both sides of my family, a musical background in my
Love it.
family. And so it's just amazing when there's a family reunion or a funeral or a
Oh
wedding.
yeah.
We are gathering around the piano,
Yes.
or we have the other instruments that come out, or even with no instruments, like we
Yeah.
can hit some harmony now. We can hit some harmony.
Yep.
Definitely.
For
Yeah.
sure.
So that's great. So how you are creating history yourself, you've
Mhm.
mentioned a lot of different things. So what is something that you can speak to, let's say 11, 12, 13, 14-year old? Let's take that
Yeah.
approach for this particular conversation. You're preteen,
Yeah.
you're be a young woman, and then
Yep.
after that, it's going to be all to the races because you're going to graduate high school, and then
Yep.
life is going to really happen. So let's speak to that age. Like, how can you speak into the lives of them
Yeah.
related to all the areas? Because you've mentioned the creative side and the analytical side. Again, just
Yeah.
like left brain, right brain. So
Yep.
that little girl that's left brain, right brain, and trying to figure things out, what would you say to them?
Keep going, never give up. I have a 15, I didn't even mention I have 3 children. I have a 15-year-old girl. I'm going through it right now with her.
Okay.
I just had the conversation last week. You're close to being 18. Like you have to have a plan, have goals. What do you want to do? I don't want you to do something that you don't want to do long term. And I'm real big on entrepreneurship anyway, so I do push my children into to being entrepreneurs. They all are just like me. They draw, they paint, I whatever I'm doing, I let them help me. I even take them to events with me, and they help me at work. So um, to my daughter Alexia, what I'm always telling her is, to just always have a plan. Make sure you have a purpose you're living for. Otherwise, you will get wrapped up in the worldly things, and people will hire you and have a plan for you in their life. You got to have something to chase and that you hold valuable. So I'm living it right now with my 15-year-old, just
Yeah.
trying to guide her to do the things. I've made all the mistakes, my whole life. So it's like trial and error is your mom. And I'm just trying to let her know, if you have any questions, you can always ask me. I'm always always going to be open for whatever happens. You know, I'm always here. And yeah, having a teenage girl is fun. It's like raising yourself all over again, but doing it
Yourself.
right this
Yeah.
time.
And I just so happened to pick that age group, right? Yeah.
I know. Oh, they're
Yeah.
going through it right now. Those hormones, 15, these girls, they're getting ready for prom right now. And mine's they just won a championship basketball game over the weekend. So they just won state here in Arizona. So I try to keep her busy. My kids play soccer. We try to keep them busy and their minds stimulated all the time, which is why I jumped into the AI and tech realm. It's like endless, stimulation. I can give them something to create and work on.
It is. It is. So yes,
Yeah.
we have some AI publications that are going to be coming out. The first one is, and it has to do with investing and real estate. But there's all different kinds of investing. So I want people, no matter if they really actually want to do,
Yeah.
it's called traditional investing, they still need to get this book because it's unlocking and unblocking wealth using AI. And so I would love to talk to you about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is endless. And when we have where we can teach and train up our children, where it's not even where they think about it as teaching and training is part of what I mentioned earlier. I don't know if you were listening earlier. That's the key, because then it's not like it's something that's like, oh, I have to do this and it's forced upon me. It's just a part of their current mindset and their current way of life. Like that they know that we're going to be having these conversations, and we have these conversations. Like you said, you take them to events and whatnot, and that's great. The behind the scenes of the entrepreneur life and all of that. All of that is perfect. And I don't know if you've heard of my friend's book. It's Laurel Langmeyer. I don't know if you've heard of her, but she's a millionaire maker. And it's how to make your kids millionaires. And so it goes from age 0 to 4, age 5 to 9, and then 10. It goes through each age up to 18, and then beyond. But different things that we can already have set up for our children, so that as they grow, it's just a part of their DNA. It's a part of their life.
Yeah.
So that's a really good book that I use for training for adults. I use it for teens too. But I use it actually on adults because everybody doesn't have all that already set up.
Right. Yeah. So, no, we're still trying to figure it out. So
definitely. So so if we just still concentrate on that age, and we're talking about history, I did a show like years and years ago on Voice America about teens that were millionaires already, where they had a lemonade stand, they had where they did something, some of it was like online businesses that they've had, but actually some of it was products and services. And it was like lemonade, like everybody makes lemonade. Now, how could there still be a need for a different kind of lemonade? Well, there was, and she marketed it, and she was, she's a millionaire now. So stimulating their minds on innovation.
Yeah, reinventing the wheel. You can reinvent the wheel everywhere. I say it all the time.
So is that something that you're working with your daughter, or you think about, on how to help our children to make history and not wait till they're older, but helping them to already think about making history?
Oh, definitely. All the time. I mean, everything I'm doing is like, I worked on this program with a friend, and it was just image recognition. And I had my daughter helping me with that. And it was a program called Watson, where we were feeding it images of people who had COVID and people who didn't have COVID, just so we could, it's a program he created. We called it COVID Vision, where we can take a selfie and it'll let us know now whether that person has COVID or not off of a selfie. So I had my daughter helping me feed the machine images. I'm like, give me as many pictures of, if you have friends that say they have COVID, ask them if you could take a picture of them and ask them if we can use them. So I include her on the projects I'm doing, just so she can see, like, there's so much more to college. There's so much more to the roof that everybody puts over our head. You can literally create anything, and AI is giving us the opportunity and the doorway to do that. So
Right. And so have this conversation with people about AI all the time. So I'll just go ahead and give you this question, of which I'm sure you've heard it before, because there's people that are fearful of AI and have always been fearful of technologies of various times. various time frames in life, even like the microwave, of which when they were first made, maybe not so safe, but now they
Right.
have it's
They've
safer.
tweaked it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not gonna like die just because you want to like warm up, a piece of bread or something. But
Right.
but so for AI, what do you tell people that are still fearful of it as opposed to using it to their benefit?
Yeah, no, I think it's completely normal to be fearful because there are companies out there who use it for evil. So always have and that's with anything, always have your antennas up and ask why, ask questions. I do that to everything. But then you do get into the things that aren't, like the Waymos. We have Waymo here now. A car can pick you right up and nobody's driving it. I took that for the first time a few months ago and I was a little fearful before I got in there. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. This feels like a professional, like chauffeur. Like I have a chauffeur now. And so
Yeah,
I made my husband go do it with me last week. It was his first time. So yeah, it's like we just have to push through those fears. And I guess me coming from, I've always been just fearless. So I will try something and then worry about what happens afterwards.
mhm.
So coming from already that state of mind, I'm always telling, just try it. You never know, and if there is, of course, there, like I said, there are companies out there creating AI not for good. So they're pretty easy to spot for me anyway, being in the industry. Just be mindful, always do your research and pay attention. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, definitely. And so I'm a risk taker.
I see.
However, like I jumped out of a plane for my birthday, my 57th birthday. I'm
Oh, yay.
now, but I jumped out of a plane and all of that. But the whole Waymo thing, I
See?
said I'm a risk taker, but I'm like, I don't know about that.
Mhm. Well, but now I found out they don't get on the interstate. I was good with that. I'm like, as long as you're not getting on the highway here, because people already can't really drive.
I
In
know.
Arizona, since I've been here, I'm like, oh, this is a state where people they drive so fast and
There's no snow, there's no ice. Like, I mean, maybe like once a year, okay. But I'm
yeah,
like, and there's so many car accidents, and I'm like,
I
how?
know. No,
Like,
I was hit. My first year here, somebody hit me and totaled our car, and I've never been in a car accident. So I was just like, being here was a
I'm so
complete like
sorry.
shock yeah, it was a culture shock, and we got through it. But I'm just like, people here drive so fast, like they're just in a rush to get everywhere, and
Right.
you gotta get out there and get in there with them, or else you're gonna get left behind. So
Right, right. Yeah. So the whole Waymo thing, when you're talking about that, I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. So she's further along than I am
yeah,
on the
I
list.
did do the Waymo.
I told you, I still, I don't know about that.
Now the taxi drones, they have these taxi drones now out in Dubai. I don't know if I'll ever do that. I don't know. I can't say never, but
Mhm.
I'm always interested in the new things. So who
Okay. So
knows?
have you jumped out of a plane?
I haven't done that yet.
No.
No. And I've always wanted to.
Okay.
I guess it's my husband. My husband's not a risk taker. He
Mhm.
couldn't be more opposite than me.
Yeah,
So
my
I don't
husband.
have a partner to do it with.
Yeah, my husband's not really all about all that. He says somebody has to be on the ground to
Right.
take
He
pictures.
says, I'm gonna keep my feet on the ground. You
Yes,
go up there.
there's two things. Somebody has to be on the ground to take pictures with all the different things I do, and somebody has to be available to collect the insurance.
Yeah, yeah. That's my husband too. He's
Yeah.
so basic, go by the book, and I love that. Like I need that balance. So you be that person, I'll be the risk taker.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, so you mentioned, do your due diligence and do your research and whatnot. So
Yeah.
that's part of the services that I offer too for people to, if they don't know how to do the research or whatnot, be a part of their due diligence team.
Mhm.
And so, because everybody is not tech savvy, so even if you do the research, like you don't even know what you're looking at,
Right.
potentially sometimes. So you do have to have those people, of which I say women in your corner to have where you're able to call on them if needed,
Yep.
depending on what it is. So that's great.
Yeah.
So good. Okay, and then let's talk about your event business. So
Yeah.
you said that took off, and how is your event business making history?
Oh man, it's going so good. I started obviously I have about 10 bartenders and I kind of attract other me's. So it's like we're all these women, we're mothers, everybody's looking for obviously extra income outside of their corporate jobs right now. So I've kind of just attracted this tribe of like amazing people, and that's really the most I love it. That's what I like the most about it is the people that it attracts. Um, but I mean, just the amount, I'm meeting people from every industry. I'm getting, and then I'm personal. I'm in their homes. I only do like private in-home events. So I'm doing their graduation parties. I'm doing their weddings they're in their backyards. And in
Oh,
Arizona, they do that here. I know the Midwest, we didn't do that.
yeah.
So moving here, it's like, the opportunities in the event and service industry, I mean, it's huge and it really gets you right in the door to network. I just did AZ Clean Tech, and they are a networking group that brings the whole tech community together here. So they've been hiring me to come out and do their events, and I've been networking, and it's just crazy like how the dots and everything aligns here in
Mhm,
Arizona. And I think it's the good weather that could be a little,
mhm.
a little piece of it. Everybody's just hungry here and they're eager, and I love it. I love the energy here.
Yeah, yeah. And nice weather is relative depending on the time of year.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
But you mentioned indoor events too,
Oh yeah.
so that's great, because otherwise we die
Oh
outside.
yeah. It's hot.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, no, I learned in the summer, ask, is it indoors or outdoors? Because those outdoor events, those are crucial sometimes.
yeah. One of the weddings this past year, I was because we do audio visual, for events, and I
Oh
MC,
yeah.
and I do like dances and bring different groups together to
Oh,
to
so cool.
to dance or act or do whatever kind of entertainment for the events.
Yeah.
And so this one wedding, like I'm over with my husband. It was time. I was done announcing,
Yep.
and it was close to where the water cooler was, and I'm like handing out water, like handing out paper towel,
Yeah.
like about to pass out and die, because
Mm-hmm.
come on with the vows already. Like, are we done
Yep.
with the wedding? And people that were in the wedding party, you're supposed to stand up there, and they were dying. They were
Yeah.
at the wedding, so you have on suit coats and stuff, and
Oh, it's hot.
it was
Yeah.
not good. It was not good.
Yeah.
That
No,
particular,
I
it was
I have
beautiful.
it down to the math when to start setting water out for people, because I know they're gonna start just rushing me and wanting water. Like, yeah.
Mhm. I'm talking about the people in the wedding party.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, this is the okay. Another piece of paper towel, another
Yep.
another bottle of water. Don't pass out. Don't die during the wedding, please, please, please.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's fun though. I love Arizona. I love the event industry. I love how we're getting ready to be this huge tech hub. They're getting ready to build that huge facility out in the Glendale area, and it's going to bring a lot of real estate opportunities for everybody. I'm not a real estate agent. My husband wants to get into it, so I'm so excited for that. I'm like, get into it now, because Arizona's getting ready to be booming here in the next 10 years with the
Right.
tech industry, and just trying to get our family set up, our little family. So
Excellent, excellent. Well, it
yeah,
sounds like you're doing a great job at that, and I really
thank
appreciate you
you
being on and registering to be a part of what we're doing. And we can definitely get you involved in the business and leadership portion
for
of
sure.
Women of Impact and Innovation. And even with what you're saying with technology and innovation,
Yeah,
that's like one of your fortes too. So yeah, I'm looking
yep.
forward to connecting on that.
I would love that. Yeah, that would be great.
Excellent, excellent. So, if you had to just only say one word as you end today, what would your one word be to inspire women to make their own history? One word.
Oh, create. Just
Yeah.
create. Get to using your mind, use your
Mhm.
gifts, brand yourself, because that's the only time you're going to be happy, is chasing after what you actually love and what you like to do, what you desire. Make that list, make those goal lists, and accomplish them. Just create.
Mhm. Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you for being on, and thank you for being a woman for
Thank
Women's
you.
History Month that is actually making history herself. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Have a good day. Bye.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you being on with us. And yes, Patty, the word she had was create. And one of my mottos that I teach my students, my innovation students, I teach here in the United States, but also in Africa every week. And one of those mottos is creativity breeds creativity. Creativity breeds creativity. So if you're able to be creative in the kitchen, or be creative even making your own clothing, or writing poems, writing books, or doing something technical, like as you use that muscle, creativity is a muscle, then it is a muscle that translates. Because the other part of that creed, that motto of creativity breeds creativity, is that creativity is translational. So you're able to fix a car, you're able to write a song, you're able to paint a painting, like all of that is creating. And as you continue to use that muscle, then you're able to use it in different areas. Think about people that you know that act, and then they want to go on and maybe do something in sports, or there's someone that's in sports and then they want to go on and do something with acting, or they want to be a singer, or they want to open a clothing line, or they want to start this business or that business. And the gentleman that just passed away, George Foreman, he was George Foreman, he was a boxer, but he also had the George Foreman Grill, and he had all these other businesses. It's because creativity breeds creativity. So the translational portion of this, yes, Patty, is very, very key. And as we continue on in Women of Impact and Innovation, you'll see, like what I mentioned to her and what she does, Ms. Alexander, that there is the business and leadership portion, also the technology and innovation portion of what she does, and with events. And so it's just, we can just continue on and on and on. And the possibilities, as she mentioned, are definitely endless. So thank you all for being with us these last 3 days that we've had. I think we did Wednesday, Thursday of last week, and then we were on today. And we'll be posting, some of the different AI generated comments from these, and then some will be ones that we will generate ourselves, just to have where you have some snippets. But go back and listen to what we have. And even when we start this, for each month, having where we can have you on to share some of what you're doing, we would love to have you register with Women of Impact and Innovation International. The website, let's see, is right here. WomenOIII.com is our website right here. And if you want to join our Facebook group, just type into Facebook, WOIII, and it should bring up the private Facebook group for you to request to join. All right. This has been really great. Thank you so much. And remember, keep rising, and let's keep rising together and continue to be a woman who is making history. And with that, I will go ahead and share for the last time on here, let's see, about my book, The 51 Powerful P's of Public Speaking, and how even doing this, doing a podcast, doing a radio show, TV show is public speaking. Going to a car dealership to talk to a person to buy a car, that's public speaking, because you're doing it out loud. The only thing that's not public speaking is when you're talking to yourself in your head. If you want to be on a stage with people, in front of 100 people, 1,000 people, whatever, that is public speaking. But 51 Powerful P's of Public Speaking helps you in any type of speaking scenario. Take care. God bless. And as I said, let's keep rising together.